B-2 Spirit, the silent strike at the heart of the enemy. In a land long accustomed to the wailing of air raid sirens, an unusual silence reigned. There were no warning sounds, no detected aircraft, and no prior alert before the explosions began. Craters appeared unexpectedly at one of the most heavily guarded locations, Iran's underground nuclear facilities, leaving the signature of an absolutely precise attack. But the strangest thing was this: the attacker left no trace. No radar detected it, and no satellite recorded its movement. It was as if a ghost had rained thunder from the sky. According to defense sources, the weapon most likely used was one of the U.S. military's most secret and powerful assets, the B-2 Spirit stealth strategic bomber. It is currently the only aircraft in the world capable of completing such a deep strike mission without being detected or suffering any counterattacks. Developed by Northrop Grumman and officially unveiled in 1989, the B-2 Spirit is a symbol of a technological leap in military aviation. Unlike traditional bombers, the B-2 was built entirely around the concept of stealth, not as a secondary feature, but as the entire design philosophy. Originating during the final years of the Cold War, the B-2 was created to counter the threat from the Soviet Union's rapidly developing advanced air defense systems. The Pentagon launched a secret program known as the Advanced Technology Bomber to create an aircraft capable of nullifying radar and penetrating modern air defenses. The solution was a daring design, a flying wing fuselage, a shape that Northrop had experimented with since the 1940s, with no tail fins, smooth curves, and minimal surface area to reflect radar waves in a harmless direction. Combined with a radar-absorbent coating and weapons hidden inside the fuselage, the B-2 achieved an incredibly small radar signature, equivalent to that of a sparrow. Despite its sleek appearance, the B-2 is a colossal machine with a wingspan of over 172 feet, wider than a Boeing 747. The aircraft can operate at altitudes above 50,000 feet at subsonic speeds and has a range of 6,800 miles without refueling. With the support of aerial tankers, the B-2's effective operating range is global. Carrying up to 40,000 pounds of ordnance, the B-2 can deploy both conventional bombs and nuclear warheads with high precision. Notably, it is the only aircraft currently capable of carrying the GBU 57M OP, a 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb that can penetrate 60 feet of concrete or 200 feet of earth before detonating. This makes the B-2 an ideal choice for attacking deep underground military facilities in places like Iran, North Korea, or other fortified areas. Operating the B-2 is not easy. Although it is controlled by just 2 pilots, 1 pilot and 1 mission commander, the logistics behind it are extremely complex. Each flight requires dozens of ground technicians to inspect and maintain it, especially the radar-absorbent coating, which is very sensitive and fragile. Restoring this coating after a mission can take several days. The B-2's first combat deployment was in 1999 during the Kosovo campaign. 6 B-2s flew 50 missions, dropping 11% of the total bombs of the entire NATO force in a short period. The aircraft was later deployed in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya, often as the first strike asset in any air campaign. A single B-2 Spirit costs more than $2 billion, making it the most expensive aircraft ever built. Initially, the U.S. planned to produce 132 units, but after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the number was cut to 21. Today, only 19 are in service, 1 crashed, and 1 is kept as a reserve. Even after more than 3 decades of service, the B-2 remains a crucial platform in the USS Strategic Nuclear Triad, along with intercontinental ballistic missiles and submarine-launched missiles. Its ability to fly intercontinental distances, carry a large payload, and be virtually undetectable allows the B-2 to strike any target on Earth without leaving U.S. territory. The B-21 Raider, the B-2's successor, is in the final stages of testing. It is expected to have better stealth capabilities, be easier to maintain, and integrate artificial intelligence into its operations. However, until the Raider completely takes over, the B-2 is still being regularly upgraded. Its communication systems, sensors, and new weapon integrations are constantly updated. In a changing global landscape, as China increases its nuclear capabilities and Russia invests heavily in modern air defenses, the need for an unstoppable stealth platform has never been more urgent. The recent, though unconfirmed, appearance of the B-2 in the Middle East sent a strong signal. Nowhere is safe when the U.S. decides to act. The B-2 Spirit is more than just a military vehicle. It is a warning, a symbol of absolute strategic dominance, an invisible hand that can reach every corner of the planet without warning. In modern warfare, surprise is the advantage, and the B-2 is the very definition of that surprise. B-21. Raider, America's next-generation stealth warrior. More than 30 years after the last strategic bomber was unveiled, the United States once again stunned the world by presenting the B-21 Raider, a 6th-generation stealth aircraft with a mission to change the face of modern warfare. The unveiling ceremony took place at Northrop Grumman's plant, 42 Air Force Base in Palmdale, California, on December 2nd, 2022, marking a major turning point in the USS efforts to modernize its strategic arsenal developed since 2015 by Northrop Grumman after it beat out other heavyweights in the defense industry. The B-21 is the result of nearly a decade of intensive research and development. The name Raider was chosen to honor the Doolittle Raiders, the brave pilots who carried out the historic air raid on Tokyo during World War II. The new aircraft not only inherits that audacious spirit, but also embodies the vision of 21st century stealth warfare. The B-21 is not just a combat machine, it is a strategic platform designed to adapt to any situation, from deep strikes into enemy territory to reconnaissance or electronic warfare missions. According to official announcements, the Raider can perform both manned and unmanned missions, has the capability to carry nuclear weapons, and, notably, can be operated regularly without requiring the complex maintenance of previous models. One of its most notable features is that the Raider has a range that far exceeds any existing bomber. Additionally, it can operate in the most dense and modern air defense environments without being detected. This is the result of more than 50 years of progress in stealth technology, from aerodynamic design to radar-absorbent materials. Since the program began, details related to the budget have been kept tightly secret. In 2016, the U.S. Air Force refused to disclose the estimated cost per B-21 unit due to concerns about leaking sensitive technical information. However, expert estimates put the price at around $700 million per aircraft, a number that seems large, but is relatively reasonable when compared to the costs of previous defense programs. In fact, adjusted for inflation, the Raider still costs less than the B-2 aircraft it will replace. The entire B-21 program currently remains within a budget of $25 billion, a rare achievement in a U.S. defense industry notorious for budget overruns. This success is largely due to the strict management by the Air Force's Rapid Capabilities Office, along with rigorous requirements for regular reports to Congress to control spending. In contrast to failed projects like the LCS Coastal Combat Ship, which was criticized for being both delayed and expensive, the B-21 is a testament to how a military program can be implemented responsibly and effectively. The Raider is not just a new piece of equipment. It is part of a comprehensive strategy to upgrade the U.S. nuclear triad, which includes intercontinental ballistic missiles, nuclear missile submarines, and long-range bombers. With the advent of the B-21, the U.S. Air Force plans to gradually retire older aircraft such as the B-1B and the B-2 Spirit in the coming decade. It is notable that the Raider's introduction comes at a time when China is rapidly expanding its nuclear arsenal and modernizing its military. According to security assessments, China could possess up to 1,500 nuclear warheads by 2035, a number that forces Washington to strengthen its strategic deterrence capabilities to maintain balance. While the ultimate goal is to prevent war, the B-21 serves as an assurance that the U.S. will always maintain the highest level of retaliatory strike capability. A nuclear war, if it were to break out, would not only cause unimaginable human, environmental, and economic damage, but would also plunge humanity into an unprecedented crisis. Therefore, the existence of the B-21, though it is hoped it will never be used, is an essential part of maintaining peace through deterrence. The B-21 project officially began in 2011 under the name Long Range Strike Bomber LRSB program. After a fierce competition between Northrop Grumman and the Boeing Lockheed Martin consortium, the contract was awarded in late 2015. One of the reasons Northrop won the bid was its commitment to designing an aircraft that was both easy to maintain and optimized for long-term operating costs, a factor that had caused previous programs to fail. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin once emphasized, "A weapon cannot work if we cannot sustain it." The B-21 is not just a stealth combat aircraft. It is a strategic step forward in our ability to maintain power in the air. With a production goal of at least 100 units in the initial phase, the Raider will be the cornerstone of the U.S. Strategic Bomber Force from 2027 onward. However, because this is a top-secret military project, many details about the B-21's operational capabilities have not been released. What the public knows today is only the tip of the iceberg of one of the most complex programs in U.S. Air Force history. It is worth remembering that the name Raider is not just a code name. It is a tribute, a statement, and a message to the future. Just as the pilots of yesteryear dared to fly into Tokyo in the hope of changing history, the B-21 also carries the heavy responsibility of ensuring national security in an increasingly uncertain world. The Raider is not just an aircraft, it is a symbol of an America that is unyielding in the face of threats, always ready to defend the peace it has preserved for nearly a century. In the age of technology, sometimes a silent presence is the most resounding warning.